Research has shown that owning a lot of possessions can make us feel stressed, anxious, and depressed. And that clutter does produce a chemical reaction in the body. That is known. When you downsize to do tiny living, you recognize right away the big benefit that people talk about when they talk about minimalism and decluttering, and that is there is less stress in your life. But there are 6 surprising benefits that don't get mentioned very often. They're scientifically proven and they are awesome. So I want to share with you today the 6 surprising benefits to decluttering your life. I'm Renee, and I have been living in under 100 square feet for over 8 years now. It has really taught me a lot about myself, how I spend my time and my money, and how owning less affects people, how it affects me. There's been a lot of talk about how downsizing to tiny living or decluttering your world can help you have more time, more money, and be happier. If you want me to talk about those in more depth, just let me know in the comments below. I'll do a video on those particular benefits. But right now, I want to talk to you about those 6 surprising benefits that you may not have heard about. Number 4 and 5 were probably more surprising than the others to me, but number 6 is the one that really caught my attention. And I'll tell you why in a minute when we get there. But first, number 1 reason is that it improves relationships. Study from the National Library of Medicine shows that people that focus less on possessions focus more on people, on experiences and interactions, and that improves relationships. Makes sense, right? The study showed they had more positive social interactions and stronger social bonds. The second surprising benefit to owning fewer possessions is better sleep. Study has shown that an uncluttered bedroom will allow you to fall asleep faster and actually get a better quality sleep all night long. The third surprising benefit to owning fewer possessions is better productivity. This is not too surprising when you think about if you get better sleep, you're going to have better productivity. According to the Princeton University Neuroscience Institute, cluttered workspace can have a negative impact on productivity, especially with tasks that require concentration and problem solving. Makes sense to me. And if you're feeling stuck in life, maybe this is why you can't find solutions to your other issues. It's really hard to brainstorm and when you have problem solve when you have clutter around you distracting you. So the reasons that surprised me a little more than the first 3, number 4, consuming less calories. What? How can having less clutter around you help you eat better? Well, for one thing, I already knew from some research I'd heard a couple of years ago that when you get less sleep, you actually snack 15 to 20% more. So there you go, back to the sleep again. And so another thing that has recently come out, a study called Clutter, Chaos, and Overconsumption. And this is talking about overconsumption of food, not overconsumption of products. So the study had people in a cluttered kitchen and a clean, organized kitchen. And there were snacks available to those folks that were in the kitchen that day. And they tracked the folks that were in the cluttered kitchen, the more chaotic environment, more often went for the unhealthy snacks. They wanted those cookies. They left the carrots alone. And the clean, organized kitchen, those folks didn't have that problem. The 5th surprising benefit to owning less stuff is, again, surprised me. People exercise more, they have better physical health just from having less stuff around them. A study at the Indiana University shows that less cluttered surroundings can lead to other healthy habits. That makes sense to me. I've experienced that myself. I actually eat better now that I'm living tiny, but I put it to the thought pattern that I had less other concerns, less weight on my shoulders, that I could look to the important things in life. I had time to pay attention to the food I was eating and what was best for me because I wasn't distracted by all the other things in life. And that's basically what this study proved, is that less cluttered surroundings lead to other healthier habits and better personal choices, including increased physical fitness. So this study looked specifically at the interior of people's homes, and those that had a less cluttered, more organized, more minimalist home exercised more. So the last reason, as I mentioned before, is the one that really caught my attention. I don't know, that's more surprising than the others, but it's something that I kind of struggle with. So I'm like, oh, wait a minute. There's something here. And that is that owning fewer belongings, living a more minimalist lifestyle, really can help improve your memory. So this is a study from the University of Oregon. So right here in Oregon where I live, they did a study that showed increased physical possessions around us increases the visual noise in our minds and our lives. Okay, I've heard this theory before. They continue to say that these visual distractions of clutter increase the overload and even reduces our working memory. The scientific terminology was something about specifically related to distractor suppression activity in visual cortex. You might have been able to tell I was reading that because I didn't memorize. Thank goodness there was layman's terms explaining that this was talking about all the stuff around you that your eye is seeing and bouncing off of and processing and putting in your memory is depleting your working memory. So yeah, I've always say, I have really bad memory. I have really bad memory. And I think about maybe that's why. Because even though I live tiny, I still have a lot of stuff. And I need to deal with that. I have a lot of stuff because I'm putting everything I own, which I got rid of most of, but I still have it all in a small space. And so there are a lot of things around me. And I'm a creative person. So I like having things out where I can see them rather than, put away behind a cabinet. So another thing that if you're interested in, we can do a little more research, dig a little deeper, and provide a video just on that. So those are the 6 surprising benefits of owning less. They're all scientifically supported with studies, and they're all things that I can see in my own life. I can see how these downsizing and living tiny has made a difference in many of these categories. As I mentioned, I have 1 or 2 to improve upon. So we'll see what a difference I can make with those when I declutter my own space. It's tough. Did you hear me? I paused. Declutter my own space. It's a tough thing to do. I've got some tips for you that I'm going to put into play, and I'll be happy to share those with you if you're interested in how to declutter and how to get rid of it and how to make it not, make your body do this. So let me know in the comments. And as they say, smash that like button and hit the subscribe if you want to hear more about the positive effects of tiny living and more about what tiny life is like.